Welcome to Meaningful Mornings. Purpose pulls performance. This is the slogan for Meaningful Mornings. Performance pulls productivity. This is the slogan for Easy Evenings. And if you extend this more, productivity pulls peace. When you combine Meaningful Mornings and Easy Evenings, one feels peaceful. These words sound very management-oriented, correct? They're sort of jarring in the morning. How I feel about these. Purpose is bhakti yoga. Having a love for the day. Performance is karma yoga. Whatever you love, you will serve that. And productivity is jnana yoga. One is more insightful. One prioritizes better. When you combine bhakti, karma, and jnana, naturally, you feel peace. Does that sound better? In the last verse that we studied, I shared how the less you love, the more limits you have. This can be understood more simply in terms of a comfort zone. The less people you love, the more uncomfortable you feel with those who you don't love, correct? And if you love all, you're comfortable with all. Prince Arjuna's love is falling, and so his comfort zone is shrinking. He began speaking to Sri Krishna, loving dharma. This was his purpose. Now this has fallen to Pandavas. Dharma includes all humans. Pandavas does not include all humans. There's 2.4 million people on the Kaurava side. The system of Arjuna's falling, the terms used are moha, bhaya, shoka. Do try to remember this psychological fall. This starts with confusion. When this is not checked, it becomes fear. When this is not checked, it becomes sorrow. I experienced this in a rapid way yesterday morning. I was in our basement studying for Vedanta and Bhagavata, and Shuka was playing. And Sheila had made some breakfast, and she said, "Do you want me to bring it down?" And I yelled, because the door was closed, "No, I'll come up and get it." And when I had yelled, Shuka immediately became confused. Why is there yelling? And then he ran towards me with this sad face, because he was scared, like something was happening. But then I hugged him, and see how it didn't turn into sorrow. But that confusion led to fear. And for us, We don't feel that hug, so this becomes sorrow. We continue, chapter 1, verse 33. Yesham arte kangshitam naha rajyam bhoga sukhani cha taime vastita yuddhe pranans tyaktva dhanani cha. Prince Arjuna is continuing to explain what he is feeling to Shri Krishna. He is looking for someone to join his feeling in the first quarter. Yesham, those, the people around him. Arte, for whose sake? Why we're doing what we're doing. Kangshitam naha, the desires that we have. What we are desiring, for whom we're desiring. This is what he starts off with. I'm going to open up the sense of desire for all of us to think about our own lives. There are many classifications of actions, karma. I will speak more to this in chapter 3 and 4. Here is a simple framework for you to reflect upon. Sakama and nishkama. Sakama means selfish. Nishkama means selfless. Making this more relative, the more selfish one is, the more their desires will be about themselves. And really, this is a sense of doership. The more selfless one is, those desires will not be about themselves. And really, that is a sense of instrumentship. I am not the doer. I am part of being a doer. So Prince Arjuna here is sharing our desire. What are they desiring? Here's your next quarter. Rajyam bhogaha sukhani. Rajyam means position. Look, I am the ruler. Bhogaha, this is possessions. And sukhani, pleasures. So he is sharing that we're desiring position, possession, pleasure. These are very shallow purposes. And if the purpose is shallow, then the pull is going to be shallow also. So, this is why Prince Arjuna is falling. And making this more relative, why is this shallow? Because these purposes are always changing. Position, possession, pleasure, this is always changing. Just think of different music scenes. Yesterday was the Grammys. It's always changing. And if this becomes your purpose, you can't keep up with such a purpose, so you just end up being tired and frustrated. And that's exactly what's happening with Prince Arjuna too. Okay? And this is emphasized more in the third quarter. Te ime avastita yuddhe. The people that are standing, ready to fight. Prince Arjuna's made the people, particularly those on his side, the Pandavas, his purpose. But greater than a person being your purpose is a cause. That's why I shared with all of you, he went from dharma, which is most inclusive, to Pandava, which is exclusive. His purpose has devolved, his pull has devolved, so his body is becoming weak, his mind is becoming weak. This is a hard message for us to register. As people who are deeply involved with our families, you get to see people in my family every day. It is hard for us to register this, to follow this, and that's all the more reason why Bhagavad Gita is for us. Prince Arjuna is deeply involved with relationships with family, and this is his message. This is not black and white. The more that you study the words and the verses, one comes to relate to Prince Arjuna, empathize with him. What would you do in that position? The people who have gathered, what's going to happen to them? The fourth quarter, pranan dhanani tyaktva. They are ready to renounce and give up their dhana, that is their outer wealth, and even their prana, their inner wealth or their lives. So Prince Arjuna is sharing with Sri Krishna a lot of destruction, outer destruction, inner destruction, is going to happen if we continue to follow dharma. What is the point in following dharma when there's going to be so much destruction? In hindsight, so much destruction has already happened because of the Kauravas, because of adharma. And if this is not checked, even more destruction will happen. So this is all an opportunity cost, and they are not black and white. One has to be tough. I just heard on Netflix, there's a new cartoon that has been released or will be released. It's essentially about Bigfoot and his family and how they're fighting against oil companies. And so the oil companies in Alberta are pushing back against Netflix, saying this is an anti-oil sentiment. Now, this is a tough position because the oil industry employs so many, provides energy, but there's an opportunity cost in terms of the environment. 10 years, if this goes on, we may not have an environment to live in, correct? So what do you do? Lots to think about. From inspiration to application. A recent application of yours was not to fight with yourself. And for some, this may be too abstract. The fight that is happening inside of us is between the mind and the intellect. Like an older sibling, that is the intellect, and a younger sibling, that is the mind. How do we stop this fight? The older sibling should laugh at the younger sibling. Not at, but rather with. Yes, the intellect should laugh at the moods of the mind. Then one will stop fighting with oneself. With Sheila and I, if I died, if we both died, one way to describe our relationship I would share is teasing oriented. Not ridiculing oriented, not making fun oriented, but teasing oriented. I tease her, she teases me. Then when matters are serious, and they are, how can they not be? They're not as serious then. Another application of yours was to think in your mind, say with your mouth, every time you interact with someone, what did you have to say? Hey, Govinda. And you have to do it like that. See, if you say it, you'll start to think it. And what you'll think is, Govinda has come into your life disguised as your supervisor, your subordinate. how you will interact with your supervisor, your subordinate will be quite different then, correct? We always go, hey, Govinda. And that's why I said we should be, hey, Govinda, hey, Govinda. Your application for this morning, I want you to identify the 3 dominant expectations that run through your life. Think about your expectations all day, and what are the 3 expectations that you are most involved with? Okay? In terms of announcements, the reflection adventures of the day that are posted on social media, the RADs. For those who are part of the High Five Challenge, please share your reflections on the High Five Challenge in the threads underneath these RADs to create even more of a sense of community. Shanti, Shanti, Shantihi. Be safe, be sound, be serene, be happiness.